Talk. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Happy Sunday morning to you all. It's another edition of NFL Sunday Morning with me, your host, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk in the house, man. As usual, we have another 30 to 40 minutes of NFL action starting today. We already got some early games going on. You got Seattle Seahawks taking on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not working out so far for the Seahawks right now, but we'll talk about that. It's week 10. Wow, it's like every week I keep saying this. The time just blows by really quick before you know we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. But hey, we got my week 10 power rankings. We got the week 10 predictions, and I'm going to wrap up today's show with my clutch picks of the week. Pretty solid last week, 3-1. The Falcons messed me up, but hey, we're still looking pretty good. I'm over 20 plus wins, so we're going to keep that trend going on for today. So without further ado, man, hey, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Morning with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Welcome back in, everybody. Hope you guys are doing okay. Welcome. It's Sunday morning. It's early, especially on the West Coast. But listen, I keep it rolling, man. I keep it grooving. But hey, before we get into the show, man, make sure if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Clutch Sports Talk, man. Listen, it's the first option that comes up. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notifications to let you know when I go live for anything Clutch Sports Talk related. Also, head over to The Grid. The Grid is a group of content creators kind of like myself. We're talking about sports. We got all the other types of guys out there. Make sure you hit us up, man. We're growing steadily, and we need that support. So make sure you guys hit that up as well, and support. Just keep supporting us. We appreciate you guys, and we'll keep it like that. So again, hey, welcome. Thanks everybody for joining in. It's early here on the West Coast, but hey, week 10 is with us. We are here. Again and again. I'm gonna keep saying this every week. It's fun, but it's also sad because it's just another week closer to the end of the season. I wish this can go on forever, but it can't. You know, like they say, all good things must come to an end. But we're gonna keep rolling and pushing through. All right. With that said, a lot of highlights to get through. Not highlights, but predictions we want to get through today. But first, I do want to talk about the power rankings. Some noticeable changes. Excuse me. So, got a couple more honorable mentions going into this week. Now, for the most part, the top is pretty much still the same. I've readjusted the Chiefs with the Bills, even though the Bills have beaten the Chiefs head up. Something about the Bills, I'm still not. They're a good team, but again, they're still heavily reliant on Josh Allen, right? So, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that I do like the Chiefs. I mean, the Bills, but it's something about them right now. I just feel like they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable now. They're taking on Minnesota today. I'll talk about that game later on. But for the most part, the top three will pretty much remain the same, I would say. Just flip-flopping. Now, the Eagles are still at number 1. I got the Chiefs at number 2. The Bills at number 3. The Niners. Some people might be surprised that I have the Niners, ranked so high based on their record. Every week, this team is getting stronger and stronger. They're getting healthier. They're figuring out who they are. You've added Christian McCaffrey. Hopefully he doesn't go down. Elijah Mitchell coming back from injury. This team, Deebo Samuel. Listen, they just beat the Rams, 2 weeks ago? They weren't even at full strength, okay? And I know the Rams aren't what the Rams once were, but they're still the reigning Super Bowl champs, all right? This is going to be a race between them and the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks ain't looking good right now. They're still down 14, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They're still down 14 at halftime in Germany, mind you. That game's in Germany to the Buccaneers, who I don't even have on the power rankings. So we'll see what happens after today's game. Where the Bucs will maybe try to creep them way back in. It'll be tough because there's some other teams ahead of them. All right, I got the Cowboys in at number 5. Their defense is elite. If they can somehow figure out to take the offense and make it somewhat average, this team will be all right. because the defense will be able to shut things down from the most part. And, their offense won't have to score a lot of points. I believe right now they're averaging about close to just under 20 points a game giving up on defense, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty good in the National Football League. Now, if you're not scoring 20 or more points, that's not a good offense. So the offense is going to have to get it going. They got it going not last week, but right before they went into the bye week against the Bears. Their first 4 possessions of the game resulted in touchdowns. That's what we need to see. That's the offense that we got kind of accustomed to last season in the beginning of the year, and then it kind of fizzled out. So that's what we want to see moving forward from the Dallas Cowboys. At least from my perspective, from a fan's perspective, I want to see the offense get rolling. I got the Vikes at number 6. A lot of people are going to think it's disrespectful. Listen, they're a product of their record. They're still skating by, getting by teams. They barely escaped the win last week in Washington, where we destroyed the Washington Commanders. And when I say we, the Cowboys. So a lot of teams are destroying them as well. So something about the Vikings, man. I'm telling you right now, I won't fall in love with the records. It's a power rankings. It's not a records ranking. Obviously, if this was a records ranking, then they would be in number 1, or they'd be number 1 or number 2. Obviously, right? They only lost 1 game, and that game was to the Eagles. Okay, so this is not about completely all about your record, because obviously, look, I have the Niners ahead of a lot of teams that have a better record than them. But it's what I feel going into looking at their roster, how they're playing football, right? And do we think, in the end of the day, the Vikings are a team that we feel confident in going on the road somewhere possibly and winning a playoff game with Kirk Cousins? Absolutely not. Okay, I don't know, it's not playoff time yet, but we're starting to get into those later, colder months. And what does that mean? Playoff football listen, I just talked about the top of the show. Week 10 is here. Before you know it, man, it's going to be week 17 and the season's almost over. So we'll see what happens today. They do have a tough one. They got to go on the road. They got to go to Buffalo. Josh Allen will get the start, but we'll talk about that later. I got the Dolphins. The Dolphins' offense is keeping them up in here. Now, their defense is okay, right? It's a bend, don't type of break type of style right now, but that offense is powerful. It's electric. So I'm going to have them ranked up at number 7. I got the Baltimore Ravens. They're still hanging in there, too. 6 wins this year so far, coming off a Monday night win against the New Orleans Saints, who are depleted. And then, Lamar Jackson's looking pretty good. Listen, people think I don't like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a good player. Again, it's not that I don't like him. I just don't think that he'll be able to get it done in the playoffs. He don't have enough. He can't do it all by himself. Now, it works in the regular season, but when you start playing other really strong, competent teams that can maybe slow you down just a little bit, then that becomes a problem, and he's not the kind of guy in the playoffs so far that can just go out and win a game. I haven't seen a stellar playoff performance by Lamar Jackson, and if I've missed it, please let me know. Please let me know, because I haven't seen one yet. He looks really good in the regular season, and then come playoff time, it's like it's a totally different guy. It's a totally different guy. So I'm going to keep the Baltimore Ravens right where they're at. All right, Seattle Seahawks, even though they're losing right now, this team has been playing tough throughout the year. I'm hoping they can bounce it back, because they're part of my clutch picks of the week. I've been picking them literally the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they haven't let me down. So hopefully they'll be able to bounce back against the Buccaneers, who are starting to surge a little bit. Maybe they found a rhythm. I know Tom Brady was on his podcast this past Monday talking about, this team isn't buttoned up, discipline-wise. So maybe going to Germany is something that they needed to do. And it's showing to prove to be paying off dividends. As of right now, they're up at up 2 touchdowns right now against a solid Seattle team. Okay, but I do still like the Seattle Seahawks. They're running the football. Their defense is improving. Geno Smith is comeback player of the year, hands down. And we'll see what happens, and see where the chips may fall, right? And then finally, rounding out the top 10, we're going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I know they lost a tough one against Kansas City last week, Sunday night. This team, they won't have the offensive firepower to keep up with a team that's like the Chiefs for the most part. I'm surprised that they were able to keep that game so close. But why? It's their style of football. They run the football. They're coached very well. Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach, right? And so they will muck up a game for you. They're that type of team that they're not going to allow you to play your style of football. You have to play their style of football, okay? And really, in the end, last week Sunday, Patrick Mahomes was just he out athleted them at the end of the day. He just did. You know, he made plays with his feet at the end. The guy threw 68 times. And to me, even though you think, oh, wow, that's a lot of time, it wasn't that as effective as when he started running around and making plays using his feet. And that was the doing Tennessee. And they couldn't really answer because Malik Willis, to his credit, he's not really going to be an NFL quarterback. All right. And so they basically ran their offense through Derrick Henry, which they normally do anyway. And so at some point, Tannehill will come back. They'll be better off for it. But the Tennessee Titans, they don't really have a number one wide receiver. They're just pretty much getting it done through really, really good defense, smart coaching, and strategic skills, and just running the football. That's what they do. And you know what? And I can trust that because they know who they are, right? A lot of these teams that we see in these top 10 rankings, they don't have an identity, right? At least we know who the Tennessee Titans are. When they show up, you know what they're going to do. You know what their MO is. You know what they're here to do. They're here to hit you in the mouth, right? And run the football, play good defense. They're going to be physical brand of football, and that's what they're here to do. And that's why they'll be able to be in a lot of games. So when that line came out, I believe, last week in the Sunday night game, 13.5, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm jumping on the plus. I'm jumping on the plus because Tennessee plays the Chiefs very well or very closely in the last couple of games, in the last couple of years. Hell, they even beaten them a couple times, okay? So the Tennessee Titans, may think, oh, come on. They're a division leader right now. So I've got to give them some respect. And as such, I will. All right, we got some honorable mentions. Some people will probably be like, well, you don't have the Jets in your top 10? Yeah, I don't, because I still don't trust them. Okay? They're going to have to put it together. They're going to have to put it together consistently for me to trust them, because I've done that before. I went there, I put them out there, I put some money on them, and then they let me down. Now they have a bye week, so they're not playing anybody this week. But if they can keep these wins going, look, a lot of people did not expect them to be where they are, and then they're coming off a surprising win last week against the Bills at home. Can they go to Orchard Park later on and win that type of game? Those are the types of games, because listen, at the end of the day, they're probably gonna get one home game, if that, right? Maybe even if they are the rest of their playoff run, if they make the playoffs, is gonna be on the road. All right, so I don't really trust them that much yet. So they're still a young team. They're still growing. So we'll have to wait and see. Bengals, a lot of people still like the Bengals. I've seen the Bengals as high as 3 or 4 in some power rankings. I don't see how. I get it. Joe Mixon went off last week for 5 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers. Who cares? Okay. When they start playing really good teams, then that's going to be the barometer for me when talking about the Bengals. Okay, because they're on a bye this week, but when their schedule starts to come back, when they start playing those other divisional games, can they get by running the football all the time? And I get it, Joe Mixon's good, but can they do that when really good teams start loading the box, playing good defense? The Bengals got to where they got to now, at least to the Super Bowl, with big plays. With Jamar Chase out, can we see more consistent big plays from other guys on that team? I don't know. I don't know yet. So we'll see. And their defense is it can be suspect at times, but it is what it is. All right. San Diego Chargers. LA Chargers. I get it. They got a winning record, and they got some guys back. I still don't trust them. I really still don't trust this team. So they're up there with the Jets as well too. They'll find a way to lose a game or do something stupid in the end. So I can't really commit to putting them in the top 10. And the Giants, even though they do have a winning record, do we really believe in the New York Football Giants at the end of the day? Do we? And the answer is probably not. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But those are my honorable mentions. Let me know if I missed anybody let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and we'll keep it pressing. All right. Predictions. So we got the Denver Broncos going on the road, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Really, Broncos defense is their mainstay, right? But you got rid of Bradley Chubb. Broncos offense not looking really that great, so they're coming off a bye week, but they got to go to Tennessee. Tennessee coming off of a tough loss, but I still take Tennessee Titans to win this game, and possibly even cover. I think it was -3. But I think the Broncos offense really is not that good. So, but I like Titans in this one. Let's see. We got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a surprise for me, even though I did pick the Steelers to win the division, which does not look you know, especially now, they gotten rid of some of their talent already. Guys are hurt. I'm still going to take the Steelers at home. This one was -1 at one point. It might be a pick 'em at this point, but I'm going to take. Yeah, it is. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, it is. It was -1 last night, and this morning it looks like it's a pick 'em. But I'm going to take the Steelers at home. The Saints, to me, they're kind of like in the same boat with the Steelers. Like they got some talent, but no quarterback, no good quarterback play. Andy Dalton's a backup. Jameis Winston, we don't know what's going on with him. He's in uniform, but they don't play him, and they don't have anybody else. All right, this defense is kind of battered a little bit. They're not dominant as they once were, which I thought they were going to be, but they're not. They don't get after the quarterback the way they used to. So I'm gonna have to take the Steelers in this one at home, only because they're at home, honestly, because their quarterback play ain't that great either, and they cannot figure out a way to run the football. So if they can figure out a way to do that, maybe take some pressure off of the young quarterback and he can get it out, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm taking Steelers. All right, Minnesota Vikings on the road taking on the Buffalo Bills. This is a big test for the Vikings. If they want to prove to myself and some other doubters, this is the type of game. Not going on the road and barely beating the Washington Commanders and celebrating on the plane ride home. Okay? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I get it. Every win in National Football League is tough, but come on. It's the Washington Commanders. You guys say you guys are a top team. We'll prove it today by going on the road again and taking on one of the top teams in the AFC in the Buffalo Bills and getting that dub. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So, but I'm going to take the Bills in that game. Even though with a battered Josh Allen, I think because they're at home, they'll feed off that energy and they'll be. And Buffalo's tough to beat at home, period. So, but that's why I like them. Jacksonville taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think this will be a letdown game. Jacksonville may try to keep this close a little bit, but in the end, they're still the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a young team, still can't figure things out, right? So, and I think the Chiefs they're gonna be a little bit more buttoned up, coming off a quick scare last week Sunday night. I'll take the Chiefs to roll in this one and cover. I think they were -9 or something like that. So, looking that stat up, yeah, 9.5. Do they cover? Yeah, I think they do. I think they'll win by a touchdown and a field goal. Yeah, you could lock that in there. All right, Browns taking on the Miami Dolphins. This game is close at -3.5. Browns coming off of a pretty solid win in their last outing, but the Dolphins are hot right now. Tyreek Hill, first receiver to reach 1,000 yards this year. Jalen Waddle, he's also top 4 in yards as well. So they have offense, man. So and they're running the ball with Mostert and the kid they just Jeff Wilson they traded from the Niners. I'm liking what I see on offense. Tua is looking pretty solid. So right now I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think they'll cover. This one easily. Take the Dolphins. All right. Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. Lions coming off a really big home win against the Packers, which is that's not something common that you say, right? But they got to go on the road. Chicago's playing better, right? They're playing better. They're using Justin Fields a little bit more. They're running the ball better with Justin Fields. They've added Chase Claypool in the wide receiver room. I still like the Bears at home just because they're playing better football right now. They're playing better football at the end of the day, and the Lions are still the Lions, and they're probably going to lose. Now, this game is closer than what the odds makers are saying. I think, it's -2.5. I think that's about right. This should be a close game, I would say. It might be an interesting one. If you don't, if you're searching for a game or if it's on the red zone, this might be just a little quick game you want to fill some time with, waiting for your other game to come off commercial. I wouldn't mind watching this one because I like watching Justin Fields run around and do stuff, right? It's kind of exciting. So, but I like the Bears. Houston Texans taking on the Giants. This one might be close. The Texans play hard. Now, the Giants are favorite at home, but the Texans, by Garnet, they just play hard, man. They suck, but they play hard. They may get blown out in the end because it's just a war of attrition, and they can't compete with most teams right now in the National Football League. But don't expect the Giants to just run away with this game. So don't expect it. So if I had a surprise shocker this week, it would be the Texans, but I still think in the end, the Giants still have a little bit more. They're a little bit better at quarterback. They're better coached. They got Saquon Barkley, and that's been enough for them to win a lot of games. So this game is at -4.5. I can see the Giants maybe eking this one out. It'll be back and forth. Texans might go up early, but won't be able to finish. The Giants will come roaring back and finishing this game and winning it outright. All right, Dallas Cowboys taking on the Green Bay Packers. Everyone is talking about this game. Oh, how the Cowboys is this? Oh my God, this line is moved. It's -3.5. It's for. I'm telling you, this game is just not going to be that easy. What people think. As a lifelong Cowboys fan, and I was on my friend's show the other day on Friday, Bryson Carver on the Carving Up podcast. Check that. Make sure you guys check that out. We were talking about this, and I said, listen, the Cowboys historically have not really been good at games like this where it should be a knockdown, layup, slam dunk. And the line is telling us that. It's moved down. It was at a touchdown at one point, 5.5. Now it's at -3.5. And that's saying a lot considering what the Packers have been through the last, 4 or 5 weeks. Okay? They've lost 4 or 5 games straight. And it's not going to get easier after this. I believe they got Tennessee next and somebody else after that that's going to be good. So, I know Aaron Rodgers is not playing well. I know he doesn't have the talent. I don't know if Aaron Jones is going to be able to play today. He was in a boot last week against the Lions. They lost one of their best pass rushers in Rashawn Gary. He's out for the year. But for some reason, Vegas still thinks this is going to be a close game. And I agree. And I live in Vegas. I agree. All right, now the Cowboys are favorite. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys blew this game. I really would not be surprised. Now, I'm going to ride with the Cowboys, but I'm just telling you from being a fan of this team for 20-plus years, they do stuff like this, man. I still don't feel confident in the coaching. This is Mike McCarthy's first return back to Green Bay, right? Seen his crime, where he did not leave on really good terms, I would say. And I think Aaron Rodgers might be a little bit motivated, even though I think he's kind of given up on this team for the most part. If the Cowboys are going to win this game, they're going to have to get on them quickly, right? You can't give up a touchdown in your first drive of the game. You can't go 3 and out on your first off. Like, you got to run the football. This team is they're very fragile right now. And so if you don't take advantage of what's going on with this team, then you keep them around, and then the game is close towards the end, and it gives them confidence. And so that's what I'm afraid of. But I'm still going to take the Cowboys to win. But I think that -3.5 is on point. It's on point, definitely. So, but yeah, we'll see. But that game, that's going to be a game that everyone's going to be watching later on this afternoon. All right, Indianapolis Colts taking on the Raiders. This one's comical. The Raiders better not lose this game. You got Jeff Saturday literally plucked off of a desk being a commentator and is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, which have a lot of people up in arms, which I understand. But hey, the Colts owner, it's his team. He can do whatever he wants to do. And then now they fired. So this is what happened with the Colts in the last couple of weeks. You fired your OC, right? Really wasn't even his fault because he don't even call the damn plays. Shout out to Marcus Brady. Hope you get a good job where they value my brother somewhere. He gets booed. Then they go to New England and they get bounced. Okay? And then Frank Reich gets fired. So it's like, what was the point of firing the OC? You don't even call the plays as much. And then you fire the coach the next week because you don't score. Probably should have just started firing the head coach for the most part. Now you got a guy who's been like a special assistant to the quarterback's coach, who's going to be calling plays, who has never called plays, and Jeff Saturday, who's never coached higher than high school, who has like a 3-17 high school coaching record. Now they're on the road. They're playing Las Vegas, who really just they don't want to beat anybody because they just keep blowing leads. Raiders, I'm telling you right now, if you lose this game, Jeff, your coach, Josh McDaniels, he's got to go. He's got to go. And I would fire him mid-season. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did, coach's hot seat, and he had one flame, but I think over the last couple weeks, that flame has increased, right? And if you go out and lose a game like this to a team that doesn't have a real head coach, no real game planning, it's going to be probably pretty basic as far as their scheme is concerned from an offensive standpoint because you fired everybody that runs the offense. Come on, Raiders, come on. I know your defense ain't that great, but you got to be able to stop the Colts today. And if they don't, man, this is going to be must-see TV. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be watching this game alongside my Cowboys game because I'm going to be on pins and needles to see if the Colts get up early and they start doing their thing. Oh, my God. And this game's here in Las Vegas, right down the road from me. The stadium's like, what, 10 minutes away from where I live, right? All these Raider fans, right? So, Raider fan, I'm telling you right now, if you guys lose this game, stay off social media. We don't want to hear nothing about Raiders. We don't care. Because if you can't beat a team like this, you suck. Straight up. All right. As Travis Scott would say, straight up. Don't even bother getting on social media. We don't care. All right. All right. Cardinals taking on the LA Rams. Oh, I didn't give you my pick. You know what? I'm still gonna take the Colts. I'm gonna take the Colts to win this game just because I want to see the Raiders just lose. I don't even have any other input to give you on that Colts Raiders game other than the fact I just want to see the Raiders lose. So hey, I said it. Go Colts. All right. I want to see the Cardinals and the Rams. This one, it'll be close. I think the Rams will end up pulling it out. The Cardinals definitely have some trouble. We saw in the Hard Knocks in season, there was a little, not a tussle, but exchange of words between DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. Look, Kyler Murray, it's the reason why they want you to watch film, bro, instead of playing Call of Duty. Okay? It's a reason. And everyone got on, the Cardinals for putting that in the contract when he really should be doing that anyway. You should be watching film. They shouldn't have to put a clause in your contract for you to watch film, mandatory. You're a quarterback in the National Football League, sir. That's your job, is to know what's happening. And it's obvious. He can't read defenses. He's literally snapping the ball and running around making a play. I was high on Kyler Murray in his first couple of years, but now I'm starting to see that, and honestly, a lot of these guys, quarterback play, I'm going to say something. Quarterback play in the National Football League is not that great. And you're probably wondering, what are we talking about? We got Patrick Mahomes. We got all these guys, Josh Allen's. But these guys, they're quarterbacks. I understand that. But if you're just talking about the art of being a quarterback, these guys are not quarterbacks. They're just athletes that can run and they can extend plays. But sitting back there, like dropping back, and I get it. It's fun to watch these guys run around and play. By all means, I love watching it too. The Lamar Jacksons, Kyler Murrays, Josh Allen's, Patrick Mahomes. These are quote unquote the faces of the National Football League now, right? Whereas Tom Brady, who's 45 years old, is still getting it done. Do you actually see yourself, or do you actually see Lamar Jackson playing until he's 45 years old? Let's just be real. Probably not. Same thing with Kyler Murray or Patrick Mahomes. Why? Because Tom Brady is one of the last quarterbacks of football. You remember that movie Last of the Mohicans, for you older people who are my age group? Right, I'm 38. Last of the Mohicans. Well, Tom Brady is the last of the quarterbacks because there's not a lot of him running around anymore. What it is now is you have a lot of super athletic guys who don't watch film, and they get out there and they're pretty much playing street ball. And that's where quarterbacking is at right now. I think it's at an all-time low. And just not that long ago, I thought it was at an all-time high. But now I'm looking at it, it's really not that great from a quarterbackial. I don't know it's made up that word, but from that standpoint, it's not a good. We're not getting a good quality showing from these guys, right? Guys that can sit there, hang in the pocket, they can read defenses. We don't have Peyton Mannings like that anymore. Patrick Mahomes even, he even admitted that he doesn't watch as much film or doesn't read defenses as well as he probably should be. So sometimes he'll struggle, right? Because he doesn't know where to go with the ball. So he uses his legs. He's using these weird sidearm angle throws. And the media and social media, we make it seem like, these guys are just so great when really they're really talented guys. I'm not saying they're not, but from a quarterback standpoint, they're really not that good. But anyway, I digress. But listen, the Rams should win this game. If they don't win this game, the Rams are done for the year. Just stick a fork in them. All right, they need help, but this is a good game to get help against because the Cardinals are coming in off of a tough loss, a big loss against another divisional rival. So you got to get this win if you're the Rams. So I'm going to take them to win this game. All right, Niners taking on the Chargers. This is the Sunday night game. This is going to be a good one. I like it. Is it Sunday night? I'm sorry. Sunday night game? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Sunday night. So the Niners at home taking on the Chargers. So Chargers are coming in and taking on the Niners. I mean, listen, I already told you what my reasons were why I put the Niners so high in the power rankings. So who do you think I'm going to take in this game? The Niners, and they should cover this game. 7.5. The Chargers, to me, they're not well coached. They're not buttoned up as they should, even though they do have a lot of talent on their roster. But sometimes talent just doesn't get. When you're playing other talented teams, sometimes you need that extra edge, and that comes in the line of coaching. And right now, Kyle Shanahan's a way better coach than Brandon Staley by far. So I like the Niners to win the Sunday night game. And finally, wrapping up the week, the Washington Commanders on the road taking on the Philadelphia Eagles for Monday Night Football. This is minus 11. I think if this game was in Washington, I would probably do the plus. I think the Eagles will roll this one up easily. Even though it is a divisional game and historically these teams have played kind of close to each other, but the Eagles are on something different right now, and I don't think the Washington Commanders can keep up with what they got going on. So, I'll leave it at that. So those are my predictions. And to keep in alignment to wrap up the show here, let's go with my clutch picks of the week. I have Seattle, but it's it's not looking good. Now they got on the board now, but it's not a lot of time. Well, 2 minutes left in the third quarter. They're down 11 points. Maybe they can kind of get a comeback going, but right now not looking good. So I'm banking on the rest of these guys cashing in. So I got Seahawks, Steelers, Bears, and Niners winning. Hopefully, like I said, if I can finish 500, that'll be a win for me. But I can't take a 0-3 or 0-4, or excuse me, 1-3 or 0-4 loss. I at least want to split. So those are my clutch picks of the week. And yeah, that's it, man. Like I said, half an hour, man, get you guys right. Give you enough time to go and get your breakfast and settle in for these games, or you can finish up watching the Buccaneers and Seattle game, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now when I wrap up here. No After Dark tonight. I got some things going on this evening that I won't have time to set up for that show tonight. But listen, be on the lookout for my next content, which will be coming out late Tuesday afternoon. It's going to be my recap of Week 10 around the National Football League. So make sure you guys hit me up on YouTube for that. And as always, man, make sure you follow me on my Instagram, clutch.sports.talk on Instagram, and on YouTube, really, Clutch Sports Talk Podcast, man. If you put that in, I'm the first guy that comes up. So it doesn't take that long. So make sure you guys hit up in that and subscribe. Keep subscribing, man. I want to keep growing the channel. I'm trying my best to put something out there for you guys to enjoy. And I'm trying to stay true to myself. So I think that's what's the most important thing too as well. So, but anyway, make sure you also hit the grid up. I'm always repping the hat, repping the squad there. Catch the wave, man. We're growing, and we're gonna keep riding it until the wheels come off. So, but anywho, that's my show for this morning. Make sure you guys have a blessed, awesome, wonderful Sunday. Enjoy today's games, and if your team wins, great. If your team loses, hey, it's football. You got a whole nother week, man, so you can get back in the saddle. But that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. I'll see you guys later. This is NFL Sunday Morning with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Peace out, guys.